Welcome, Bronco
Hockey. And Jake Minton here, ready for Game 2 of this hockey weekend between Boise State and Montana State. And right off the draw, Boise State wins the puck. It is Thomas Poland back for Dietz, and Dietz chips it out. And that's Eric Pinsky intercepting the puck from Montana State. Boise State ends up getting the puck down into the zone. Montana State setting up behind their net, rimming it up the boards. Dietz is there to pinch. Eric Pinsky ends up getting into the neutral zone, slings it back in. Now it's back out in the neutral zone where Thomas Poland throws it back into Brandon Benson, who is offsides and knows it and comes back out of the zone. Montana State brings it up now, coming through the neutral zone. Nice move at the blue line, but Thomas Poland ended up getting enough of the Montana State player to slow him down. Now it's Montana State captain in the corner. He's throwing it back down. And now Eric Pinsky on the wall chips it up the boards and is able to get it out of the Bronco defensive zone. But Montana State just flings it back in. We got backup goalie Brad Johnson in net today. Kyler Ayers sitting after the start last night. It's a quick turnaround. Stinson gets it up the zone to Broman. Oh, Broman with a nice move, but a high hit by number 93 of Montana State that ends up getting Broman off the puck. And now Montana State flings it up the boards. Refs call off icing as Mitchell Hodges and Brett Cornea fight for it. Now the Broncos chip it back out the zone. It's a touch, so it's not going to be called an icing as Montana State brings it back. And now there's a attempt at a move behind the net that Boise State ends up seeing and covering. Now Boise State dumps it back in the zone. Setting up behind their net and chipping it out of the zone, out of his own defensive zone, is number 13, Jim Seelstad. 18 minutes left here in the first period. Still a 0-0 game between Boise State and Montana State.
And Mitch, that's some good forechecking put on by Montana State in the first round. I talked with the coach before the game, Coach Dave, head coach at MSU, and he wanted his team to keep shots down today and to keep their speed and their intensity up. And it looks like they have done just that. Let's see if they could keep it up for the rest of the game.
All right, and here comes Boise State bringing it down into Montana State's end. Fitzgerald able to close off the rim there on the far boards, and now it trickles back below the goal line. Montana State able to bring the puck up the boards and eventually get it out of the zone with a nice stick. Sven Marnaus now back for Boise State, brings it around the back of his net and pass out. Ended up missing the stick of number 49, Mason Hewitt. It's now Montana State back in the zone here. And Dustin Truex able to get the puck and bring it out for Boise State. He doesn't get past center, though, as Montana State's able to stuff him. Now just a little back and forth play here between the two teams in the neutral zone as Montana State eventually gets it in, and a great save by Brad Johnson as number 6, Ryan Padden, comes in with a great shot from the high slot. Now it's a face-off in the Boise State end as Brandon Benson leans in to take the draw. Ends up losing it to Montana State. They're able to set up slightly back behind the net now. And Brandon Benson, who lost that face-off, now gets that puck back. Oh, and a little burst of speed from him is almost able to get by the defenseman. Now there's a little scrum along the boards as the puck is now loose, and Benson over to Stinson, who brings it in the zone, is able to be fended off by number 30 from Montana State, who is not on the score sheet for today, but a little scrum on the boards here. Bronco player on the ice, but they end up getting it back here, and a great pass out front as Montana State's able to get a stick on it. Now Montana State bringing it up the zone. Left side. Player stops on the half boards trying to shake the defender off. He ends up getting it. Brandon Benson now able to clean it up and get it out of the zone, but Montana State just throws it right back in. Here come the Broncos with a lot of time and space. They end up getting it up in a tip in the neutral zone that allows them to make a change. Now a bad pass out front by Fadrea that ends up being a turnover as Olsen for that matter, makes a big hit. Puck ends up squeaking out front and Montana State ends up coming away. Now play in the neutral zone as Montana State is able to get the puck in deep behind the Bronco net. Brad Johnson out to stop it. Quick play up the boards as Kyle Meyer picks up the pass that was intended for his winger, and is now there's a little scrum in the neutral zone that Montana State ends up getting it back and flings it out of play. Now with just over 5 minutes gone here in the first period, still 0-0, and it's a high-action game here, Jake.
Oh yeah, that's for sure. Looks pretty even so far as there's been good opportunities in both ends for both teams. I talked with number 21, Mitchell Hodges of the Boise State Broncos, and asked him what do they need to do in order to keep their success up from last night. And he said they got to sustain their forecheck and keep that shot count up.
And that's an icing call there on Montana State as the puck is going to go back down to the defensive zone for a face-off. Boise State lineup looking a little thin after last night's game as two of their big players were taken out off dirty hits. Michael Carranza and Griffin Ames both out sustaining upper body injuries in last night's game. The puck is now dumped back into Montana State zone by Boise State, and the forecheck ensues. Great play by Truex there to be able to read that play and intercept the puck in the high zone. And now Jones gets the puck, brings it in, shoots. Oh, and a great save by Montana State as the goalie is just able to get his blocker out. Now it's in the slot for Pinsky, and Pinsky just misses the net. Sven Marnaus now on the half boards. Plays it down a little bit, loses it. Montana State gets it, chips it up. Eric Pinsky on the blue line, able to keep it in. Sven Marnaus now down to Dustin Truex. And now Mitchell Hodges in the slot, and a great poke check by Montana State to get that off his stick before he could get a shot off. Now Montana State captain chips it out of the zone and into the neutral zone as Sven Marnaus comes back to retrieve it. Eric Pinsky waiting on the far blue line. And Montana State gets it off of him, brings it streaking up the zone. Great defense by Thomas Poland to get it off his stick, but it comes out front, and a great save by Brad Johnson as the Montana State player has a great opportunity. But now a penalty on Boise State as Eric Pinsky grabs the puck to bring it out of the zone. It looks like it is going to be 93 Justin Jones going to the box, and that is going to be 2 minutes for elbowing for him. Dustin Jones, one of the many rookies on this team, as Boise State had to re-amp their team with many seniors leaving after last season. Defensive zone face-off lost by Boise State. Oh, and a shot from the point off the post. Brad Johnson didn't see it. Barely saw that one as it rang off his head as well. And now Montana State playing with it along the boards, able to gain possession, throw it towards the net. Oh, and a great save by Brad Johnson. Great save. Oh, and Jake's saying the net is off. This play should be blown dead. Montana State with a golden opportunity to take the lead in this game on the power play, but Brad Johnson says no. Kyle Meyer now intercepts it in the neutral zone, flings it back on Montana State. They have to reset up. Oh, and now we're getting a Montana State penalty. So it looks like we're going to get a little 4-on-4 action here.
Camera's off. Come out. The camera cut off. Come out.
Sorry about that, folks, but no action missed as we're still waiting on the face-off off of that Montana State penalty. I didn't get what the call was, but we're going to be skating 4-on-4 here for another minute and 16 seconds. Number 21 for Montana State in the box, that is Zach Lane. And a play by Kyle Meyer throwing it to the front of the net. If he had a stick on that, that would have been a great opportunity. But Montana State redirects it, and now it is an icing against them. So that's another face-off for Boise State in the offensive zone. In net for Montana State today, we got Patrick Healy. In net for Boise State today, as we've said, Brad Johnson already made some very key stops for the Boise State Broncos early in this game. And now Montana State wins the draw, chips it out of the zone. Kyle Meyer reads it, though, and is able to stop it. Now Brandon Benson gets the puck, brings it into the zone. Makes a drop pass that gets intercepted, and now Montana State with a great opportunity, but the puck rolls off of the captain's stick, and he makes a pass out front that is intercepted by Boise State, and Dustin Truex just made a move on Montana State that made two of their players run into each other. Kyle Myers now brings it out of the zone to Brandon Benson. Oh, Brandon Benson with a great shot that sneaks past Patrick Healy. He used the defenseman as a screen, and as a result, the Broncos are up 1-0 with just under 12 minutes left to play here in the first period. That's a great goal, 4-on-4. Really needed by the Broncos, and that shows that their speed can just beat about anyone. Eric Pinsky lining up for the face-off now. Ends up winning it back to Mitchell Hodges, who pokes it forward. Montana State back to clean it up. That was number 93, Ross Jewell. Mitchell Hodges rimming it around, still with it. Pass up by Montana State gets blocked by the ref's skate. They have to regroup in the neutral zone. Number 25, Ben Carlson, dumps it in. Mitchell Hodges plays it up the boards for Eric Pinsky, who springs it up to Jones. Justin Jones with a shot. That's a great save by Healy off the glove. That was going to go top right corner if he didn't touch that. Great play by Eric Pinsky to be able to find him coming out of the box and streaking up the ice.
Yeah. Thank you.
Now we got an offensive zone face-off here for Boise State as they have 34 seconds on a power play with Montana State's Zach Lane still in the box. Caleb Stinson going in for the draw, ends up losing it. A couple weird bounces that ends up back on Boise State's stick, and they're able to keep it in the zone. Now Brandon Benson playing it over to Pinsky. Pinsky shoots it, misses the net. Brandon Benson there to retrieve it. Benson down to Truex. Truex along the half boards plays it down to Jones. Jones playing with it. Throws it back low. No one's there. Montana State able to get the puck, but Jones back to retrieve it. Jones now behind the net, setting up in Gretzky's office. Passes it to Truex. Truex cycles it down back below to Jones, where Jones just throws a pass out front that lands on a Montana State stick. Montana State trying to get it out, but Eric Pinsky with a great forecheck, able to take it off the stick of the winger. Defenseman now chips it up, and Montana State able to get it out of the zone. Thomas Poland the only one back. And offsides there on Boise State as Dustin Truex was a little bit eager to get into the zone there.
Are you able to go to YouTube and see if you can watch/hear us?
Kendall Olson gets the puck, brings it in, and shoots it into the breadbasket of Patrick Healy, who covers it for a face-off in the Montana State zone. Kendall Olson lining up for the draw again against number 21, Zach Lane. for Montana State. Zach Lane chips it forward, and his winger's there to pick it up. Sven Marnaus with a great play on the boards and passes it over to Travis Alexander, who brings it into the zone and is able to make a play to Olsen, who we end up turning it over. And now a great stretch pass and an unbelievable save there by Brad Johnson as he stuffs number 6 for Montana State, Ryan Patton. And that was a great play by Montana State to be able to find Ryan Patton streaking through the middle. He's able to split the D and get a great opportunity on Brad Johnson. Now Montana State wins it, chips it below the Broncos zone. And a pass out front gets tipped away by the Broncos. And a shot from the point gets redirected just wide. And now a miscue as Eric Pinsky now comes in on a one-on-one, finds Jones, who gets hooked, and a call on the play. Boise State's going to get another power play here. Great play by Eric Pinsky to slow up a little bit, find his winger, Justin Jones, trailing in the high slot. Now we got another Bronco power play.
Upon last night's game is to stay out of the box. They took 2 very undisciplined hit from behind penalties that resulted in 5-minute majors, and the coach definitely respects the power play game for Boise, as they say they're a very good team and they got to stay out of the box.
And now we got a Bronco power play as Dustin Truex fights for it below the goal line. It gets flung up to the boards. Brandon Benson able to stop it on the blue line, keeping it in for Boise State. Weird bounce, ends up jumping over Truex's stick and out of the zone, where Pinsky regroups, brings it back into the zone on sides, gets it on net, and a great save by Patrick Healy to stop the play. 8:47 left in the first here, 1-0 Boise State Broncos. And we got a minute 23 left on this Montana State minor to Ryan Perius. Boise State wins the draw. Pinsky back to Brandon Benson. Benson, nice move at the blue line, takes a ripper that's shouldered away. Patrick Healy on top of his game right now. Pinsky tries to play it low, gets blocked by Montana State, goes across the ice. That's picked up back again by Boise State. Montana State having a little trouble getting out of their zone here. It gets stuck on the back of the net, and it's another face-off here with another stoppage and play with a face-off in Montana State zone. Boise State fighting for it. Truex able to get to the puck first and gets it to Benson. Pinsky out front, chips it, and Patrick Healy with another great save. Pinsky looks like he got a hit up high, fending it off. And now a bad pass by Broman ends up with a rush for Montana State. Pass out front, doesn't hit the stick, and it's a missed opportunity for them. Brandon Benson below the Bronco net with the puck, fighting for it as 2 Montana State players are on him. Now there's 2 Broncos and 2 Bobcats there as Brandon Benson's able to come away with it. Passes up to Thomas Poland, who gives it to Pinsky, who mishandles it. Broman able to find it below the net, but a weird bounce on his stick. Bobcats are able to get it and shoot it all the way down the zone, ending their penalty kill. It's back at even strength here with 7 minutes, 15 seconds left on the clock. And a puck hops over Sven Marnos' stick, and he has to retrieve it. Now the puck's dumped back in by Montana State. Sven Marnos back behind his net, throws it up to Alexander, who gets pressured, and the puck ends up flying by him and into the Bobcat zone. He makes a great play to knock it out of midair. ultimately getting turned back over to the Bobcats, and they're now trying to get out of their zone with a heavy Boise State forecheck looming down on them. And now they find their captain streaking up the ice, and he dumps it back in the zone, goes back for a line change. Now it's all Boise State back in their zone. Sven Marnow skates it up. And just chips it in. It's blocked just after the blue line. Boise State chips it back into the offensive zone and goes in for the forecheck. Mitchell Hodges there to retrieve it on the blue line and send it back in. We got big Garrett Fitzgerald going in for the forecheck for Boise State. He's wearing number 4 for them. Nick Stelmack ends up dumping the puck in for an icing. And that's another offensive faceoff for Boise State. 5:59 left on the clock here in the first period. Truex in for the draw. Both a little eager. And they're going to end up throwing Dustin Truex out of the face-off circle. Eric Pinsky now in to take it. Now Justin Jones finds it on the half wall, brings it behind the net. Battling with Montana State. Truex is there to support him. Truex ends up getting the puck free and reams it to the net, and Eric Pinsky able to get his backhand on it, but a great save by Patrick Healy. And Dietz is back for Boise State to retrieve it in his own end. Not an icing call. It didn't make it all the way to the goal line. Dietz finds Pinsky on the far end. He brings it in. Left wing shot, able to be gloved by Patrick Healy with another offensive faceoff for Boise State here.
Both goalies here have seen very good quality shots here in the first period, and they're both looking pretty solid.
Brandon Benson, Dylan Broman, and Caleb Stinson on the ice for Boise State here, as Benson and the Montana State center get tangled up in the zone. Benson comes away with it, passes it to Broman, who is unable to big hit there on Broman, as he was not suspecting that.
Looks like a delayed call coming up for that hit on Broman.
That's right. Boise State's going to get another power play. Eric Pinsky bringing it in, checked off the puck. Broman coming in high, and there's a little scrum. At least some talking, not necessarily a scrum. Boise State's got to stay in their game plan here, not get on Montana State level of chippiness, and that's ultimately where they downfall.
Looks like discipline has been a huge problem for the Bobcats today. And not just today, but yesterday as well.
So Sam Coulter, the forward for Montana State, getting sat for 2 minutes in the box. Montana State wins the faceoff and is able to clear it out of the zone, where Brad Johnson retrieves it. Benson leaves it for Pinsky, and Pinsky now sets up and brings it up from behind his net. Benson with a nice pass over to Pullen, who's unable to retrieve it. But it did get down below the goal line, so Boise State is able to set their forecheck up and get the puck back from Montana State. Now it's up to the point to Pinsky. Pinsky mishandles it, gets it back. Down to Truex. Truex over to Pullen. Pullen to Benson for a one-timer, but Benson just missed the net wide. Pinsky back to retrieve it, flings it up quick to Benson. Benson to Truex, who drops it for Jones. This is just great passing here for Boise State on this power play. Benson ends up losing an edge and is unable to get that puck off the pass from Jones. But a miscue from Montana State leads to Boise State getting the puck back in their offensive zone. Benson now leans up for a shot, passes it over to Truex, and Truex with a beautiful one-timer to beat Patrick Healy on the glove side. And that puts Boise State up 2-0 with 3.5 minutes left here in the first period. That's an important goal for Boise State there, as they were unable to go up 2-0 last night with quick answers from Montana State after each of their goals. So this is very important for them.
Very unusual, as Montana State is not lined up for the face-off, and here they come.
Don't expect Montana State to roll over, though, as they were able to fight back and come back for a win last night. And now they chip it in on Brad Johnson, who steers it into the corner for Kyle Meyer. Stinson on the half boards, unable to get it. Thrown back in by Montana State, who is able to find it on the far side corner. Now there's a battle for it as Brandon Benson comes up with the puck. Makes a nice escape move from behind his net, but there's a Montana State player on the other side there greeting him. Stinson on the half boards battling to get the puck out of the zone. Montana State ends up coming up with it again. Puck comes out front, and Boise State able to take care of it. Brandon Benson hit from behind, high hit. That didn't look very good, as number 15 Montana State, that's Britt Cornea, takes a tumble, ends up getting back up though.
It looks like the refs are discussing the degree of penalty, as it looks like Benson's shoulder clipped the opposing player's helmet pretty hard.
Yeah, that's a tough play there, as Cornea was skating backwards with the puck and Benson was behind him. Eric Pinsky and Ryan Pirius for Montana State talking with the refs right now. It looks like it's going to be maybe a 5-minute major, if I can read the lips correctly of the ref. If refereeing is any consistency from last night's game, I think that Brandon Benson ultimately should be kicked out.
I agree. That looks like it was a target to the head to an unsuspecting player. It kind of looked just as, if not malicious, as yesterday's 2 hits on.
All right, so we just got the call. That's Brandon Benson, a 5-minute major for elbowing to the head, but no game misconduct, so Brandon Benson will be able to skate after his 5-minute major is complete.
The Broncos are very fortunate to keep their captain after that hit.
Absolutely, very fortunate. Now it's Montana State with a great opportunity to get back in this game, as they have 5 minutes of power play time, but 2.5 left here in the first period, so it's going to be split up between the first and the second. Boise State able to clear it down into the Montana State end, where they have to regroup. They bring it up the half wall, pass it over, and it doesn't find anyone. Dietz is able to step up, and Sven Marnow is able to track the puck in the corner, where he's greeted by number 53 for Montana State. 93, excuse me. Sven Marnow gets the puck. Truex up to Pinsky. Pinsky on the far blue line, able to find it. Loses an edge at the goal line and turns it over. A stretch pass up the zone for Montana State that is unable to be handled by Ross Jewell, but they still have it in the offensive zone here. Pass up to the point. Down back to the half boards. Back up to the point. He walks, and a great shot block there by Justin Jones, not letting it get past him for an opportunity, and a great play there on the blue line for Montana State as he's able to feed it to his winger on the half wall. Big save by Brad Johnson, though, as Boise State's able to clear it back. And now we have 3.5 minutes left here on their power play. Montana State bringing it up the zone, passes it across, brings it into the offensive zone, now stops, turns, passes it back to the point where they fling it down to the corner. There's a Montana State player there, able to retrieve it. Pestered there by Mitchell Hodges. Back up to the point. Missed pass there. And thrown out front where it just hits the skate of Pilskins, and he's unable to retrieve it, but a shot from the point handled there by Brad Johnson with ease. And we got a face-off in the Boise State zone with 34 seconds left on the clock in the first period here. Boise State up 2-0 on Montana State. Montana State playing with it on the half boards there as they dump it back behind the net. Dietz able to retrieve it. Goes past the stick of Marnaus, and Bobcats fling it back into the zone. Sven gets it on the wall and brings it up, making a nice little shoulder shimmy on the defenseman. Gets some room. Oh, and throws a shot that's blocked by the stick of Ryan Perius. Sven now retreats back, but the forecheck of Kendall Olson is unrelenting, and that finishes the period. Boise State 2, Montana State 0. We'll see you back here in about 15 minutes for the second period. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to period 2 of this Boise State Bronco game versus the Montana State Bobcats. I am here with Jake Minton. I am Mitch Kramer. We weren't able to give a proper intro at the beginning of the first period as we were having some technical difficulties. We ended up figuring those out, and now we're getting ready for period 2 of this big game of a 2-game series between the Broncos and the Bobcats.
Yeah, last night Montana State beat Boise State 5-3 in a very even, hard-fought battle. Boise State outshot the Bobcats, but their goalie was standing on his head most of the night, saving 35 of 38, and thus getting the win. Looks like they're having their backup goalie in net today, and he's let in 2 so far. On I'm not sure how many shots, but it can't be more than 15 to 10.
Yeah, I agree. Both Patrick Healy and Brad Johnson are playing pretty well right now, both coming up with some pretty big saves in the first period. We got 2 minutes and 20 seconds left on the 5-minute elbowing major to Brandon Benson. And that's going to be a big opportunity for the Bobcats to try to scratch their way back into this game as Boise State is leading them 2-0 after the first period. Both teams stretching, getting ready for period 2. Looks like we're starting to get lined up. Refs fist bumping.
It's been a very chippy series, Mitch.
It sure
There's
has.
been 3 5-minute penalties handed out this weekend so far.
3 5-minute majors and 2 game misconducts, both going to the Bobcats in last night's matchup. As we mentioned earlier, Boise State missing 2 key players for them, Griffin Ames and Michael Carranza, who were both injured in last night's contest. But for now, Boise State's able to chip it back down into the Bobcat zone, killing off some more time on this penalty. Now Bobcats regrouping, able to get it up the boards, but miss pass, and Pinsky is able to turn back around. He throws it to the front, and a great pass. Dustin Truex tips it. Short side, top corner on Patrick Healy, and the Broncos have an unbelievable short-handed goal to go up 3-0 in this game.
That was an unbelievable direction, in my opinion.
That was a great tip, great pass by Eric Pinsky to be able to see Dustin Truex streaking down the middle. And the Broncos put up another.
And I don't blame the goalie for not saving that. That was such a bang-bang play.
Yes, I agree. There's nothing he could really do about that, as that puck just found its way into the top corner. Broncos now.
Truex with his 3rd goal of the weekend. He's been on fire against these Bobcats.
That's a great stat. Dustin Truex having himself a weekend. He had the one-timer goal earlier in the first period, and now this redirection. Face off now in the neutral zone. Number 8 on the Bobcats, Josiah Pilskins, just stood up there by Kyle Meyer. Play ends up going offsides, but a great hit there by Kyle Meyer on the penalty kill.
Yeah, that was big body on big body, and they both knocked each other over. I bet they're both feeling it just a teeny bit.
Absolutely. Now another face-off on the Boise State left side dot. Montana State able to bring it in, and a pass out front misses the stick of the Bobcat forward. And now they're able to set up in the zone on their power play, moving it down the boards behind the net. Far corner, ream back up the boards to the point where a shot is taken on net, blocked in front and directed to the corner. Back to the point, fake shot back down to the corner. He gives it back to the point where he ends up shooting it, and a redirection steers the puck wide. Directed behind the net, back to the far boards where the Bobcat player got his stick lifted and puck taken off of him. Boise State able to dump the puck back behind the Bobcat goal line where they'll have to regroup. with 30 seconds left on their power play now, as Brandon Benson getting ready to come back onto the ice.
It's like a delayed call on the Broncos.
Get another Bobcat power play here.
Looks like it's going to number 17, Eric Pinsky,
Yep,
who is not very happy about the call.
Nope, he is giving it to the ref right now, letting him know that he doesn't think that was the correct call. Now we're going to have a 5-on-3 for the Bobcats for 22 seconds before Brandon Benson comes out of the box. This is a big face-off here for Dustin Truex, and he wins it back for Sven Marnaus, who's able to chip it up the boards but stopped by the Bobcat player. Sven Marnaus still chasing after it. The Bobcats able to gain some control. Sven comes up with it, brings it out of the zone. He's skating up with it now, brings it through the neutral zone. Dustin Truex is there with him. Sven passes it over, doesn't find Truex's stick, but Sven is able to get it back and back to Truex, where he finds Brandon Benson, who's now out of the box, and the Broncos are back to 5-on-4.
Nice 5-minute kill by the Broncos. They really needed that to keep the momentum in their corner.
Not only that, but they were able to put another tally on the board during that time. Great pass by the goalie to the neutral zone, where the Bobcat player redirects it to no one, and Boise State dumps it back into the zone. Bobcats trying to regroup behind their net. They do. Not very crisp passing by the Bobcats. That's deflating their power play.
Broncos doing a great job at getting pucks deep and keeping it deep.
They sure are, as number 24, Sam Coulter, brings it in. Fended off there by Boise State, and that is Justin Jones who is able to throw it all the way back down. 35 seconds left on this Bronco minor to Eric Pinsky. Bobcats bringing it up the near side, streaking up the wall. Carries it around behind the net, passes it back up to the point where the defenseman bobbles it and it comes back out of the zone. They'll have to regroup, and that will take up pretty much the rest of the power play. They have about 10 seconds left, where Caleb Stinson's able to find it on the boards and throw it all the way down into the Bobcat end. Great penalty kill there by Boise State. Eric Pinsky now out of the box, going for it. The goalie didn't know, and he had to make a quick play. Eric Pinsky coming in with a head of steam. And now the Broncos are putting on a nice forecheck, as the Bobcats are unable to collect the puck and get it out of their zone. Dustin Truex, Eric Pinsky, and Justin Jones. Mitchell Hodges on the half boards there, stopping the breakout. Truex gets it on the boards. Jones now over to Pinsky, but a pass gets intercepted, and now a play for Bobcats as a breakaway for Ryan Padden. Again, his second breakaway of the game. He ended up getting hooked, but no penalty shot awarded as Mitchell Hodges goes to the box. Ryan Padden got away from him, and Mitchell Hodges had to make himself a play.
Yeah, very smart play by Mitchell Hodges, taking that penalty on the breakaway. Kind of surprised not to see a penalty shot called there, but very smart, as their captain, one of their big point getters, shoots the puck wide, doesn't get a chance on net.
Now the Broncos win the faceoff and dump it out of the zone. Bobcats regroup behind their net, and a big hit there by Caleb Stinson behind the net, knocking 25 Ben Carlson down and off the puck. They regroup, get it back, and up into the neutral zone, where some passing miscues happen, and the Bobcats struggle to finally chip it into the zone. Eddie Poland now regrouping behind the net, and a pass out front that finds Padden, but it was on his backhand, so he wasn't able to do much with it. Puck back up to the point where he throws it back down behind the net, and now a Bobcat penalty. We're going to have a little more 4-on-4 action here, Jake.
Yep, that's going to clear up a lot of the ice, allow those speed guys for Boise State to get out there and excel at their game. And that's the one thing that head coach for the MSU Bobcats, was worried about. They're very worried that BSU is really good at using their ability to turn the corner on their D and create scoring chances.
Speaking of coaches, I do not see assistant coach for the Boise State Broncos, Daryl Hay, on the bench today.
Very good observation, Mitch. I do not either.
Boise State now finds the puck back in their defensive zone.
Kind of makes a feller wonder.
Dietz regroups, passes it over to Marnhaus, who plays it back to Dietz and up to Pinsky, where the Bobcats intercept the puck and bring it back into the Broncos zone. Great pass out of the corner on the backhand, redirected by Brad Johnson, steered into the corner where Boise State's able to get it. Oh, and a pass up from Jones to Pinsky, and an icing call here by the linesman that is questionable, as Eric Pinsky was going to be the first one to that puck.
I agree, and Pinsky is visibly not happy about that call either, as he believes he had a step on that defenseman too. However,
Jones
play
with the
goes
face
back
off.
to the Broncos and
plays it up to the point where it's redirected by Brad Johnson. Bobcat player flying into the boards, into the corner, played back up to the point where he shoots it on net, and it's redirected into the corner by Brad Johnson. Great stick. Dietz on the half wall. Puck gets away from him and up to the point where it's kept in by number 26, Ben Carlson. Throws it to the net and it goes wide. Sven Marnhaus battling for it, ends up getting it to Pinsky, who chips it into the corner to himself and skates it up out of the zone. He's got Jones on the far side who gets it. Jones makes a move, gets blocked. Padden plays it out of the zone and into the neutral zone, where Thomas Poland chips it into the zone for Boise State, where Eric Pinsky is now in the far corner, able to retrieve it. It's taken off his stick by Mitchell Hodges, but played down into the corner. Truex to Pinsky in the slot. Pinsky's shot blocked by Ben Carlson. Truex with a nice, nifty move between his legs. Ends up going on net and back to him out front, where he misses the net. Brandon Benson now in the corner has it. Up to Hodges on the half wall. Hodges skates it down, shoots it towards the net, and it's in the net. Mitchell Hodges scores on the shot from the half wall. Sneaks past Patrick Healy, and the Broncos now up 4-0 on the Bobcats. 12:21 left to play in the second period.
What a goal by Mitchell Hodges, as he just whips it to the net, and it finds an opening under the glove.
And whip is a great objective for Mitchell Haas's shot, as he has an absolute laser. Patrick Healy not able to find it.
Mitchell Hodges not much of a sniper. I was thinking he was looking to get a redeflection off of the goalie. However, it did go in. So that's why we are taught from a young age to get pucks on net.
That's right. Never a bad play to get the puck on net. Now the puck back in the Bobcat zone, where they skate it behind their net and play it up, where Boise State intercepts. Bobcats chip it away. And it's out into the neutral zone now, where Pilskins brings it up the left wing wall, shoots it, and it gets redirected up into the netting, where there's a stoppage of play. One of the Bobcat players ended up going flying into the net.
And I got to give credit where credit is due. Brad Johnson, Boise State goalie, is standing on his head this game.
He is playing himself a great game here, as he stopped great opportunities by the Bobcats.
I remember he was our third string goalie last year. Pretty much just suited up for practices only, and this year he's getting a start and he's making the most of it. Very glad to see it.
It is pretty cool to see, as Brandon Benson brings it now into the zone. He fights for it, spins away. Puck ends up trickling away for him. Kyle Meyer back into the neutral zone, back to Sven Marnhaus, who plays it up to Fedrea, and he was able to chip it in but not past the Bobcat defender. Sven intercepts it in the neutral zone, waits for everyone to get on sides, and brings it in. Sven coming down the left wing wall, stops under the goal line, plays it up to Dietz, who throws it on net, and the tip by Alexander almost sneaks past Patrick Healy, but he's able to deflect it away. Back up to Sven Marnaus on the point. Sven, ready, shoots, and a block in front, and Fedreo almost got the rebound, but it's batted away. Now Sven regrouping in the neutral zone, just dumps it back in, getting ready for the Bronco forecheck. Fedreo on the half boards creates some havoc. Down to Alexander, who throws it out front, where the Bobcat defender just tosses it back into the corner. Now the Bobcats just tossing it to no one as they throw it to the far corner. And Boise State's able to retrieve battle for it. Kendall Olson, big hit put on him, but he takes a hit to make a play and gets it behind the net. Bobcats chip it out of the zone where Dietz is there to throw it back in, and no icing as it trickles past the Bobcat defender. Fitzgerald coming in, finding it. He's got a little bit of time, throws it out front, and a great play there by Mason Hewitt to get a stick on that puck, but ends up directing it wide. Now the Bobcats throw it back behind the net where it's gathered by the Broncos, and they end up throwing it on net for a whistle. We got 10 minutes, 4 seconds left here in the second period. Broncos up 4-0.
Big collision down in the Bronco zone. It's like Dietz goes down.
Delayed offsides for the Bobcats as they're forechecking. They finally are able to tag up, and Dietz behind his own net gathers it, throws it up to Fitzgerald, who plays it to the middle. Mason Hewitt unable to corral it, but he gets the puck deep where it's directed by the Bobcats up the zone, and Dietz coming in for a big hit that's dodged by Carlson.
Big.
And the puck thrown to the net, and another big save by Brad Johnson.
Big save by Brad.
Ref with his arm up.
He extended that leg to make the pad save on that 2-on-1.
Like we said, Brad Johnson standing on his head today as he's having a great game for the Broncos.
One thing I would say the Broncos need to improve on this game is to give up less odd man rushes. I believe that's the 4th odd man rush, at least in this game, and they gave up a big number of odd man rushes yesterday as well.
They sure did. That seems to be a theme of the season, as the Broncos showcase showed the same statistics, as many teams were able to get odd man rushes and breakaways against them. Truex now is able to backhand it into the far corner where he chases back after it and meets the defenseman behind the net. Eric Pinsky steals it off the half wall and skates it behind the net where he's looking to find Justin Jones, unable to do it. Sven Marnaus back in the neutral zone, able to make a great play. And now Truex to Pinsky, back to Truex, who makes a move to Poland now, and Thomas Poland just misses the net high and wide. A great opportunity to go up 5-0 in this game.
Yeah, that's a shot where you're within 15, 20 feet of that goal. You got to get a piece of that goalie.
Puck redirected by Brad Johnson behind the net to Sven Marnaus, who makes a play and gets it up to Caleb Stinson, who passes it to a streaking Pinsky who wasn't there yet. He throws it back behind the net to Stinson, where the Bobcats are able to retrieve it. Pinsky now grabs it on the half boards, fighting for it. 2 Bobcats against 1 Eric Pinsky. Pinsky now throws it to the front where Caleb Stinson just misses the net on his backhand. Benson now fighting for it, makes a nice spin move, gets away from him, down to Stinson. Stinson toying with it, cycles it back to Broman, who loses it. Bobcats throw it up, but Kyle Meyer makes a great play on the blue line to keep it in, but ultimately a great stick by the Bobcats to get it out. And now a nice move at the blue line by the Bobcats. Kyle Meyer regroups, gets it to Stinson, He had Brandon Benson in the middle of the ice ahead of everyone else, but he didn't take a look and threw it down the boards. Brandon Benson now get his stick caught up, and the back ref ended up calling it. Brandon Benson got his stick caught up in the skates of Britt Cornea, ended up tripping him, and Brandon Benson going to the box for another 2 minutes.
Second penalty of the game by Brandon Benson. When you're the captain, you got to be a little bit more disciplined than that. The team really needs you out there on the ice.
That's one of those plays, though, where it's his stick ultimately just got caught up while going for the puck. It's not like he intended to trip him, but it's ultimately still a penalty, so Benson's got to sit for his actions. Boise State gets it on the half boards, able to get it up to Jones. Truex now finds it in the middle, almost gets by the defenseman, but he stops him. And now the Bobcats streaking back up the right wing wall, throws it to the middle, 21, loses the handle on it, throws it back up to the point where it's a stick. Truex got his stick on it, slowed it down a little bit, but not enough. Bobcats cycling it along the boards. Out to the point now where a shot comes in and goes high, misses the net. I'm not sure if Brad saw that. Oh, and now a puck out front, and a puck went right to the side of the net where the Bobcat player was ready to tee it home, but Brad Johnson comes across and makes an unbelievable save. Bobcats still fighting. A shot got redirected wide from a tip out front on the left point now. Pass across, and ultimately a great save by Brad Johnson. He's able to get across. The puck went wide. Puck comes out front, and Montana State is able to direct it home as Brad Johnson slides over, not able to see the puck. Brad Johnson he's arguing a little bit. He's saying that he got interfered with. The ref's not agreeing with him as Montana State puts up a goal.
And you can't put that goal on Brad Johnson.
Nope.
He made 4 or 5 spectacular saves.
Absolutely.
On what was sure to be at least 2 goals on that power play. Unfortunately, Montana State was able to barrage him enough for it to squeak in. Let's see how the Broncos respond.
Offside's called on the Broncos there as Stinson goes in to the zone before the puck. Now we got a face-off in the neutral zone. Left side of the ice, Brandon Benson versus Ryan Pirius. Pirius ends up winning it, but Dylan Broman giving him a hard time as Broncos ended up getting the puck dumped into the zone. Bobcats now retrieve it on the half wall and chip it out. Thomas Pullen retrieves it, throws it back into the Bobcat zone for an icing. 5 minutes, 24 seconds left here in the second period. Broncos up 4-1 off goals from Dustin Truex. We got a goal from Brandon Benson and a goal from Mitchell Hodges. Bobcats win the face-off in the offensive zone. Stinson tries to chip it out as they miss the net. He does get it out of the zone, and the puck flutters back in, delayed offsides as Thomas Pullen now flings it up. It gets intercepted, and the Bobcats bring it back in, but mishandled, and Sven Marnaus is able to get away. And a shot from the half boards is saved by Brad Johnson. No one in front of him. He's easily able to catch that in his glove.
He's been playing very confident as of late. It's something you like to see in a goalie. Usually a very
Dustin
good
Truex
sign.
here to take the draw against number 88, Herman, for the Bobcats. Boise State able to rim it back around behind the boards where Eric Pinsky makes a play to Truex. but the puck doesn't end up getting to him. Pinsky gets it back and backhands it into the zone where Truex is able to beat everyone there, throw it back out front to Jones, who wasn't quite there yet. But Jones able to find it on the boards, get it to Pinsky in the slot. Pinsky shoots it and just misses the net. On the boards now, Truex finds it, tries to make a play, gets stood up there in the slot, but puck goes to the far boards where the Bobcats rim it back around to Eric Pinsky, who flings it back behind the net. Now the Bobcats find it, clear it out of the zone for an icing. Kyle Meyer has to get there first. Now there's 4 minutes, 13 seconds left on the clock. We've got a Boise State offensive face-off here with a group of tired Bobcats out on the ice.
This would be a great chance for the Broncos to net one.
Brandon Benson in taking the draw, wins it back to Stinson, who plays it back to the point. Dietz throws it to the net, and it trickles into the glove of Patrick Healy.
Bobcats able to get that necessary change, get those fresh legs on the ice.
Bobcat player fighting with himself on the boards here, unable to get it past Brandon Benson, who brings it back in. Tries to play it over to Stinson, but it gets intercepted. But Thomas Poland, on the blue line, able to throw it back in. Bobcat defender getting chased down by a couple of Broncos. They end up getting it out, and streaking down the left wing side is Ryan Pirius, who stops on the goal line. He's covered by Dietz. Dietz ends up picking up the puck in the corner, but pressured by two Bobcats and turns it over. Pirius throws it out front, but no one's home for the Bobcats, and Brandon Benson able to direct it out. Bobcats turn back up the ice, skating down, redirected into the Broncos zone. Poland back to grab it. Doesn't find anyone, so it goes back to Poland. Now Benson on the boards. Skates it up. Tries to find the red line to dump it in. Ends up getting a couple sticks. But Tommy Poland finds it. Ends up getting it in, but not past the defenseman, as Patton gets it back. And he's almost able to go in on a 2-on-1, but a great Broncos stick denies that. Kendall Olson now fighting for it on the boards. Goes back to the Bobcat defenseman, who throws it up for a stretch pass. And Dietz is there to corral it. And now he chips it up. And Fedrea is coming in on the left wing side. He throws a shot on net that's gloved by Patrick Healy. Good play by Fedrea there just to get to the puck to the net. As we've seen tonight, that's just never a bad idea.
Not a great angle shot there, but you never know. With Mitchell Hatch's goal earlier in the game, looks like this goalie's not that confident.
That's right, 4 goals led up. 2:30 left on the clock here as it's tied up, and the puck ultimately won by the Bobcats, but not able to get out of the zone as Kyle Meyer sticks himself on the blue line. Jones plays it back to Hodges, plays it up to Pinsky, who chips it into the zone where Jones is there to chase after it against the Bobcat defender. Bobcats breaking it out, find their winger in the neutral zone. He's able to skate it up left wing side on Mitchell Hodges, spins around, makes a pass that goes right to Eric Pinsky, who intercepts it and throws it out of the zone. Icing called on the play here. So this group of Broncos is going to have to stay on the ice for a little bit longer. Minute 47 left in the second period. Your Boise State Broncos are up 4-1. The puck directed to the net, but ends up going wide on Brad Johnson by the Bobcats. Kyle Meyer now makes a play up to Eric Pinsky, who gloves it down and ends up getting his stick swatted, but a bad pass by the Bobcats, and Eric Pinsky intercepts and just rips it home on Patrick Healy. That is a gift for Eric Pinsky. None come too much easier for him there. He was just able to find that in the high slot, and he had all the time in the world to put that home.
Yeah, that D gave him a nicely wrapped present right in the slot right there. Had all the time in the world. And you know, Eric Pinsky, leading goal scorer this year for your BSU Broncos, is going to put that in the back of the net 9 times out of 10.
That's right. There's not many of those that Pinsky's going to miss. Now Brandon Benson in to take the draw. Ends up winning it. Makes a nice little move. But Ben Carlson there to take it away from him. Dylan Broman now fighting for it. Number 21, Zach Lane, skates back, throws it up, but it's intercepted on the blue line by Jackson Kennedy. Sven Marnaus now on the Boise State blue line, throws it up to Broman, but it's intercepted, and a big hit by Brandon Benson that's going to get called for a penalty. 3 Montana State Bobcats coming after him in the corner, but no one ends up doing anything. Brandon Benson pleading his case, but ultimately that looked like a, not textbook, but definitely a trip as he stuck his legs out and ended up catching the Bobcat player.
I agree with you. He looks pretty flabbergasted that he got a third call of the night, where I believe it was a little too late for him to let up on the hit. However, Montana State player made a move to where he cut in and his legs got taken out by the hit. And more often than not in this league, that's going to get called for a trip.
Absolutely. And a face-off win by the Bobcats gets thrown to the net from the point. Now they get it back, and a shot blocked there by Dustin Truex as Eddie Pullen skates it out throws it up to Eric Pinsky, who streaks up the wall, makes a move to the net, and his backhand is unable to connect. He throws it over to Truex, who takes a one-timer. That gets gathered up by Patrick Healy. Some offensive showing on the penalty kill here for the Broncos.
Truex really, really close to getting his third goal of the night. He had a golden opportunity, and when you have opportunities like that, you can't hit the goalie in the middle of the chest.
That's right. It's all right, though, as the Broncos have a little room to move, and Eric Pinsky gets taken to the ice pretty brutally there by one of the Bobcat players. 21, it looks like, Zach Lane, but no call on the play. Broncos get it back, throw it up to Broman, who had time, but he ends up just directing it into the zone. Bobcats now regroup behind their net, skated up the middle. A couple sticks flying, but the player still has the puck on his stick, right into the catching glove of Brad Johnson with 2.9 left on the clock. Ultimately, a good period for the Broncos as they scored 3 goals but ended up giving up 1. I'm sure they'd like to stay out of the box a little bit more, but when you're playing a team as aggressive as Montana State, sometimes tensions and emotions can rise, making it very difficult to contain yourself in certain situations.
That's right, Mitchell. And last night in Haley, Idaho, it looked like it was that way for Montana State as they were getting the brunt of the penalty calls last night. And now today, the Broncos can't seem to stay out of the box.
That's right. So that's the end of the second period here. 58 seconds left on Brandon Benson's minor penalty. Broncos are up 5-1 against the Montana State Bobcats. And we'll be back in about 15 minutes for period number 3. Hello, everybody, and welcome back for period number 3 of the BSU Broncos versus Montana State Bobcats game. I'm here with Jake Minton.
Hello, everybody.
We started the game off in the first period. The Broncos went up 2-0. Second period, Broncos scored a couple, gave up one, and this is where we sit 5-1. We got Boise State starting the period off on the penalty kill. Brandon Benson in the box for his third penalty of the game. An inadvertent trip that is going to get called every time. We got about 40 seconds left until the teams take the ice. How do you think the Broncos have looked tonight, Jake?
The Broncos have looked pretty strong, actually. Went down to the locker room during intermission and talked to head coach Lloyd Ayers on the BSU Broncos. And I asked him, what do you think the BSU Broncos are doing well tonight? And he said, we're establishing our 2v2 forecheck really well, and we're keeping the pressure up on their D. And that's allowed us to get several scoring chances to lead us to capitalize on our high-tempo offense. And that's obviously apparent as it's 5-1. And then I asked him, what do you think the Broncos could do a little bit better in the third period? And he said, obviously we got to stay out of the box. We've been taking too many penalties, and our mantra this year has been to take a lot less penalties than we have in the past. And so far they've done a good job of it this season. However, they want to work on that in the third, and they also want to work on not giving up so many odd man rushes. They're going to have their D sit back more this game.
Well, that's good. Absolutely. They need to give up less odd man rushes as well as take less penalties in this game. They end up winning the draw. Sven Marnaus dumps it into the Bobcat zone where they regroup and come up the ice for their power play breakout. Over to the far side there, where it's stopped by Eric Pinsky. He comes in on a 2-on-1 with Truex. Truex gets the puck, backhands it to the net, but it's stopped by Patrick Healy. Truex now on the back check, able to get the puck off of Patton, but it comes into the blue line, and 21, Zach Lane brings it to the slot, but ends up getting it poked off his stick. Eric Pinsky now brings it up the left wing side, skates it across, dangles Truex, his own player, then dangles the Bobcat defenseman, throws it out front, and Truex not able to get a stick on it, and Patrick Healy covers it up.
Things to look out for the Montana State Bobcats this period is that they're a well-known third-period team. That means they're very well-conditioned, and they're going to have fresh legs.
Absolutely. They came back on the Boise State Broncos last night in the third period. There's 18 seconds left on Brandon Benson's minor as the Broncos have an offensive zone face-off. Bobcats now get it and turn back into the zone. Captain number 23, Ryan Pirius, skates it back behind his net and then throws it up the boards to number 8. Broncos get it behind the net, fling it up the boards where it's stopped on the far side. Bobcats get it, throws it to the point. He throws it on net, and there's a rebound out front. But Boise State able to get the puck away. Dietz brings it up the near boards. He skates it out of the zone. Broncos back to even. He gets to the red line and dumps it in. Oh, I guess he did not get to the red line. That's going to be called icing. Good penalty kill there by Boise State as they had to kill off the rest of Benson's minor at the beginning of this period. That sets a nice pace for them for the rest of this game.
And for the last several years, Boise State's been known as a really good penalty-killing team. They've taken quite a few penalties today. However, Montana State's been only able to put one power play goal behind the net tonight.
Bronco forecheck ends up getting the puck back as Benson battles in the corner, ends up losing it, but back to get it as he makes a nice spin move, curls away, but loses the puck, fights again to get it. 2 Bobcats versus the 1 Brandon Benson as they end up getting it out of the zone. Now Alexander back to get it. Throws it back to Hodges. Over to number 6, Jackson Kennedy, who plays it up but misses the stick of Alexander. Now Benson makes a nice play to get it. Throws it over to Alexander. Alexander now with a 2-on-1 loses the handle, throws it out front, but the Bobcat defenseman steers it away. Now Hodges from the high slot rips one that gets blocked by the Bobcat forward. And now the Bobcats able to chip it out of the zone as Mitchell Hodges lays a nice hit on the blue line. And Bobcats end up throwing it down for an icing.
Broncos able to keep putting pressure. As I mentioned, Lloyd Ayers told his team to keep up that forecheck, and obviously they are listening.
Their forecheck has been a great part of their game today. The Bobcats have really struggled to get out of their zone. Truex lines up for the draw. Bobcats won it and rim it around the boards, where it's touched by number 27 and directed down the ice to Kyle Meyer, where he battles 2 Bobcats for the puck. Throws it up to Jones, who has to fend off a big hit, and chips it up to Sven Marnaus, who has a 3-on-2. But Eric Pinsky ends up going offside. 7:13 left to play here in the third period. Boise State up 5-1.
17.
What did I say?
7.
Sorry, 17-13 left here in the third period. Truex in for the draw in the neutral zone. Loses it, Pinsky battles, but the Bobcat player gets it and dumps it in behind Brad Johnson. They cycle it down, but Sven's able to intercept it, throws it to the wall to Eric Pinsky, who brings it out, reams it off the stick of a Bobcat and throws it down into the neutral zone, or offensive zone, sorry. Bobcats and Broncos fight for it behind the net. Jones almost able to come out with it, but it's stolen off his stick. Eric Pinsky fights for it on the wall, is able to get it, fights off a check, and is now in on the forecheck, where it's jumped out into the neutral zone and sent back in by Stinson. Bobcats now bring it up the near side, chip it out, where Tommy Poland is there to defend number 18, Grant Eppel. Now a hard shot from a bad angle from Pirius, and the puck goes wide. Brandon Benson now streaking up the ice. He's got a 2-on-1 with Broman. Makes a nice move, but not able to get it back as it slides right into the glove of Patrick Healy. This has been nice for head coach Lloyd Ayers. He's just been able to roll all of his lines today as the Broncos have been able to capitalize on the opportunities that they've had. Sven Marnaus now bobbles the puck and it gets out of the zone. Jackson Kennedy makes a big hit right before the blue line, but the Bobcats still bring it in. Played at the point where a shot is tipped by Alexander and up out of play. Faceoff will be in the Broncos' defensive zone. Draw lost by Kendall Olson, but the puck ends up going past number 30 for the Bobcats and into the Bobcat zone, where the Bronco forecheck goes to work and Fedrea chips it down behind the net. Bobcats now break it out to the wing. But a great play there by Mason Hewitt to stop the puck from getting out of the zone. Now Sven regroups in the neutral zone, tries to get it over, but it's intercepted in the middle of the ice, and a nice move there by the Bobcat forward. I believe that was Zach Lane. And now a shot from the point is bobbled by Brad Johnson, and a rebound comes out and back to where it was originally shot from. Alexander now gets it on the far boards and chips it, but not out. Played now behind the net by Kennedy, and up the boards to Fitzgerald, where he battles for it. And now the Bobcats bring it down behind the net. Sven Marnaus picks it up, Wheels it up the corner, near side, streaking down the ice. He's got Fitzgerald with him. He turns the corner on the Bobcat defenseman, brings it out front, makes a play to the net, but it gets blocked by the players in front. Truex now battling for it, gets hit hard behind the net. Now he gives a hard hit behind the net, but that's going to get called from the back referee. Just a little give and take there by Dustin Truex. And who's that for the Bobcats? Number 24, Sam Coulter. So ultimately, the retaliation from Truex gets him the penalty, and the Broncos are going to have to fight off another 2 minutes. 14:20 left on the clock in the third period here. Broncos up 5-1. And a play by Justin Jones at the point where he blocks the pass, but he's unable to corral the puck, and the Bobcats regroup behind their net. Pass up the far boards. Eric Pinsky reads it, but unable to grab the puck. A bad pass is intercepted by Dietz, and he just dumps it down. No icing on the penalty kill. Bad pass there by the goalie. No communication as Pinsky almost finds the puck for himself in the corner. And now they break it out near side. Making the play on Dietz. He moves past him. Puck off his stick. Reamed around the corner. Mitchell Hodges makes a big hit. Played out front. Shot to the net, but he missed. Bobcats regroup. Throw it back out front. Brandon Benson intercepts it. Slaps it out of the zone. He's looking for a slashing call, but he's not getting it. He's giving it to the ref. Bobcats regroup behind their net. Skate back up. It's now Perius who has the puck. He skates it down left wing side, chips it in. Dietz is there to intercept it on the far boards. He holds on to it, trying to kill off more penalty time. 50 seconds left on the penalty kill for Boise State. Slips off the stick of the Bobcat forward, not able to get to the net, and a shot from the point misses wide. Dietz gets it to Stinson, who whiffs on it, not able to get it all the way down. Perius now gets it on the blue line and dumps it in. Dietz has a little bit of time. He's going to shoot it, but not past the glove of number 93, Ross Jewell, but he steps out of the zone anyway. Now they come in 3-on-1. Great play there by Dietz to stop the puck, but number 8, relentless for the Bobcats. Great stick there by Stinson to end up knocking the shot from the point out of play.
Yeah, excellent job by Stinson, putting his body on the line for the boys in the late period.
Number 88, Orion Herman for Montana State in to take the draw versus 37, Brandon Benson. Shot one back to the point, and it gets by Jones, but wide of the net. Eric Pinsky tries to pick it up, misses it. Brandon Benson now behind the net, picks it up, and he wheels it up, but he's stopped by his own player Jones and ends up giving it up. Poland now tries to get it behind the net and misses. Pinsky chips it up the boards, and now a streaking Jones comes up the ice. He's got a player coming hard on him. And a penalty against Montana State as the defender takes down Justin Jones streaking towards the net.
That the Broncos are going to go on the power play. And from the looks of last night, they got one power play goal last night. They've been moving the puck very well these past couple games, utilizing that extra attacker.
They had a power play goal earlier in this game as Dustin Truex was able to bang home the one-timer from the far boards. And now the Broncos win it. Eric Pinsky whiffs, but still gets it to Benson, who makes a nifty move at the blue line, gets it back to Pinsky. But the puck did not get through to the net, and the Bobcats send it back down. Pinsky now pressured, moves it over to Benson. who creates some time and space for himself, moves it over to Truex. Truex over to Pinsky, but the pass over his stick, and Pinsky's got to go regroup. Pinsky now has it in the near corner, throws it to the front of the net, but no one home, and the Bobcats able to take it out. Falls off the stick of number 6, Ryan Patton, and the Broncos able to chip it back down in the zone. Nice escape move there by number 13 of the Bobcats, and he's able to ice it down, but no icing because it's a penalty kill. Brandon Benson, and a Montana State penalty as he took down Brad Johnson behind the net.
That was a pretty dirty slew foot, I must say.
You never like to see anything like that, as those are pretty dangerous. But Brad Johnson, he's okay, and he's taunting Montana State a little bit.
He's fired up.
Oh,
you can see. That just adds more fuel to his fire. He's been on top of his game today.
And now an extended 5-on-3 for the Broncos as they have a minute and 3 seconds to try to convert. 10:54 left on the clock. And a play to the net by Stinson, but it was a little rainbow shot that Patrick Healy was able to track and glove down. But face off in the same spot. Pinsky and Jones coming back onto the ice.
Looks like their number 1 unit. Never hurts to add insurance goal, Mitch.
Absolutely not, and they're looking to do so here as Pinsky takes a shot towards the net, but it's blocked by Healy. Pinsky gets it back at the point from Jones. Jones to Truex on the half boards, now up to the point, walks it in over to Pinsky. Pinsky now back to Jones. Jones one-timer gets blocked in front. Jones to the corner to Truex. Truex to Jones. Jones works his way up, back down to Truex, who skates around the circle, moves it to the net, and a great save by Healy. Battle on the corner as Montana State able to get it and send it down. That was Captain Ryan Perius. Brad Johnson makes a play, passes it to the neutral zone to Eric Pinsky, who takes his time as there's only 3 Montana State players on the ice. He skates it in, makes a shot to the net. His rebound he scores on. And a great play there by Eric Pinsky. Individual effort that ends up giving an assist to Brad Johnson.
What a goal by Eric Pinsky. Got his own rebound.
And something to note is that that was scored with 8 seconds left on the Montana State first penalty. So they still have 1:06 left on the power play to try to maybe do it again.
Someone better get that puck for Brad Johnson's first point in his ACHA career.
He's got a big smile on his face, as who wouldn't? Not many times you get on the stat sheet for assists or points for that matter for goalies. Brad Johnson did it for himself today. Played to the front of the net and wide of the net now as they throw it back out front, but Patrick Healy able to cover up outside of his crease. And Caleb Stinson getting in on it with a Montana State defenseman. Stinson's going to go to the box, and that's going to diminish the Bronco power play for 48 seconds.
Earlier, when Brad Johnson's name was called for an assist by the PA announcer, you heard the crowd go wild, letting him know his appreciation for his efforts this game. He's been staying on top of his head.
He's had himself
only let
a great
one
game.
Goal in today. Made it up for an assist.
He's got some good-looking pads, too. Mitchell Hodges gets it on the far boards and brings it up, but it's stopped by Montana State before the red line. Benson regroups over to Sven, to Broman, who plays it back to Sven. They're playing catch with each other right now. Sven brings it up. The left wing wall makes a nice move on the defenseman, puts it between his legs, but ends up getting hit. He's still got the puck, though, as he plays it back to Brandon Benson. Brandon Benson plays it to the net, but Broman unable to get a stick on it. Mitchell Hodges throws it out front, no one home. Montana State tries to get it out of the zone. They're having a little bit of trouble. They end up getting a puck deep. Sven back to regroup. Over to Benson, plays it back to Sven. Sven, streak pass to Broman. Broman on a breakaway, great pass. He had all the time in the world. Goalie made a great play.
He looked very tired. Could be at the end of his shift.
He is at the end of his
Looks
shift.
like he's coming off.
Not a problem, though, as the Broncos are up 6-1.
Looks like that puck was on the goal line, and the referee's calling no goal while there's some Montana State players celebrating the goal.
Absolutely. That was a very close call there as that puck trickled back behind Brad Johnson, but kept out by the Boise State defenseman. And Brad Johnson still having one heck of a game.
I'd have to agree with you, Mitch. And Brendan Gormley, the referee who was right on that, he called no goal immediately.
He did. There was no doubt in his mind that that did not cross the goal line completely.
And the refs are not discussing it, so and that's that. No goal.
Truex loses the face-off. Bobcats send it back deep in the Broncos zone where Poland fights for it against 3 Bobcat forwards. Bobcats come up with it, play it to the point, where Poland ends up coming up with it and sends it back down. Bronco penalty kill, 30 seconds left. Poland makes a nice step-up play there. And Hodges, Meyer for that. Meyer almost rips it down on net just wide. Brendan Benson now putting a nice forecheck on, where Kyle Meyer reads an interception and gets it back down the ice. Bobcats make a play. Great save by Brad Johnson as he's able to stop number 15, Britt Cornea, from a great one-on-one opportunity.
He's about a foot or two out of the crease, and he was able to cut that angle down tremendously, giving no scoring spots for the Montana State Bobcats.
Very smart goalie play.
He's been on top of his game today. Very impressed.
Benson wins it back to Dietz, who he throws it over to Pinsky on the far boards, who fights 3 Bobcats trying to get it out, and he does, and he comes up with the puck, and it's a 2-on-1 with Pinsky and Stinson. Pinsky electing to shoot, going for a rebound, but Patrick Healy ends up directing it up out of play. There's going to be a face-off in the Bronco offensive zone. Kendall Olson coming in on the face-off. Wins it back. Dietz plays it down low where Alexander fights for it. Goes back up to Dietz, who plays it to the net, but it gets directed wide. Number 52, Kuna, gathers the puck on the blue line, throws it back down, where Alexander is able to retrieve it on the half boards and fights to chip it down into the net, the corner, excuse me. Bobcats send it back down the ice, and that's going to be an icing call. 7:04 left on the clock in the third period here.
Boise State establishing that forecheck late, forcing the Bobcats to just get that puck out of the zone. Turns into an icing call. They can't change. Broncos got to capitalize here.
Dietz chips it back into the zone as it comes out into the neutral zone. Alexander fights for it. A miscue from 24. Coulter leads to Alexander getting the puck, but he ends up losing it. Puck played up the boards and eventually out by Montana State. They bring it up the left wing side. Stop in the corner, plays it back to the point, over to the net where Brad Johnson is there to make another big save. And Boise State not liking the exceptions that Montana State are taking on Brad Johnson. Brad doesn't care, though. He's still got a smile on his face.
What do you say, Mitch? Best pads in the league?
No doubt about that. Face off in the Bronco defensive zone here as Truex faces off against Orion Herman. Waiting for Mitchell Hodges to get onside, and now played from the point to the net. Jones able to find it. Pinsky makes a play to get it out of the zone. He takes a hit to get it deep, where Jones is there to fight after it with Truex. And Montana State able to chip it up the boards and out, where Mitchell Hodges is back to regroup, throws it over for Kennedy, who loses the battle, and Mitchell Hodges regroups in the Bronco defensive zone. Truex now up the boards to Pinsky. Plays it down in the zone, no icing called. Tommy Poland now back in his own defensive end. Plays it over to Kennedy, who bobbles it, and Montana State gets it, throws a shot on net, and the rebound goes into the corner. Pinsky gets it on the wall, tries to make a play up to Truex. Truex didn't get there first. Pinsky plays it over. Tommy Poland back. Stinson throws it in, but Eric Pinsky's offsides. Has to regroup, delayed offsides. Tommy Poland stops it on the near wall. Stinson has it now, plays it up and over Tommy Poland, who isn't able to gather it, and Montana State brings it up. Pirius on the far side throws it to the net, but Johnson directs it into the corner. Stinson throws a big hit on the blue line, loses his stick. Montana State gets another shot on net, throws it out front, and an opportunity. Montana State puts it in the back of the net. That's number 23, Captain Ryan Pirius, who came out of the corner and found the loose puck and is able to tuck it into the open net.
Yeah, it looked like Brad Johnson just lost his position in the net as he was sprawling all over the slot, back and forth. Good passing by Montana State.
Absolutely.
Able to squeak another one in past Brad tonight.
A weird bounce ends up on Pirius' stick, where he's able to just bang it home. And now a face-off at center ice. Kendall Olson loses it, and the puck gets dumped into the Bronco defensive zone. Kendall Olson now retrieves the puck behind his net, takes it from a Montana State player, but gets it poked off his stick and has to regroup. Kuna over on the far side to Alexander, who wasn't able to get there. Dietz now grabs it in the corner and skates it out. He's streaking up the ice now. He's going far side. Throws it to the net. Rebound. 2 rebounds out front, but a Montana stick is able to throw it out from harm's way in front of the net. Alexander gets the puck, throws it back into the zone. Montana State now has to regroup. Patton plays it to his partner, who throws it in. Kennedy now retrieves it for Boise State. He makes a nice move, throwing one of the Montana State players into the boards, and now the Broncos are able to chip it into their offensive zone. Nice hit there, creates space for Broman to grab it. And that's Alex Broman, brother of Dylan Broman, who wears number 61. Eric Pinsky now gets it on the far blue line, tries to make a move, ends up getting the puck back to Kennedy, who throws it on net. Rebound. Truex hits the post on an open net. He had a lot of room to shoot there. Ends up hitting the post, and it goes wide, and Montana State gets it into the Bronco end. Truex now regroups behind his net. Throws it up, misses the stick of Jones, and that's going to be an icing against Boise State. 3 minutes left in the third period. Broncos up 6-2 against the Montana State University Bobcats.
Yeah, Mitch, I bet Truex wants that chance back as he had a wide open net.
Absolutely. That is his chance for a hat trick there, as he already has 2 in this game. Pinsky makes a nice play up the boards. Oh, and he had Jones streaking, but ended up losing the puck slightly. Jones ends up getting to the puck first in the corner, where it's rimmed around. Montana State makes a couple passes, are able to get it out of the zone, where Tommy Poland there to direct it back in. Healy stops it behind the net, where number 30 grabs it. Truex intercepts. Stinson now in there to help him. Bobcats end up with it. Tommy Poland intercepts over to Meyer, who throws it up to off the boards indirectly, and no one's able to grab it. So that's another icing against the Broncos. With about 2 minutes 14 here left, you got to think this is pretty wrapped up as Broncos are up by 4 goals.
Yeah, they've been looking pretty even these last few minutes. Both teams getting, looks like an even amount of scoring chances.
Brad Johnson able to hold on to it, but the puck after the whistle trickles into the net. Brad Johnson calls an own goal on himself.
Bet he's having a chuckle. He just gave a goal sign.
Oh, but a shot from the point ends up going in on Brad Johnson after he calls an own goal on himself. That was a rocket from number 24, Sam Coulter, from the right point. Beats Brad Johnson on the blocker side, posting in.
Real
2
coincidence.
minutes left here. Yeah, definitely.
Kind of think the hockey
coincidence.
gods had something to do with that.
2:06 left here as Benson wins the draw back. Kuna plays it up, but it's intercepted in the neutral zone. Played in by number 21, Zach Lane, who directs it towards the net, but not all the way there. Net off, so the play gets blown dead.
Net was just barely off. Montana State maybe arguing for potential delay game penalty. He's not going to get it.
Good play on the wall there by Alexander to chip it out of the zone. Montana State has to regroup. Chipped up, but Kennedy picks it off and throws it back in all the way down before the red line, though, so that's going to be an icing call against the Broncos. Minute 37 left on the clock. Broncos definitely showing a steadier performance throughout tonight's game than last night.
And it's going to be nice feeling to get that win after a 4 or 5 game losing streak.
Absolutely. Well, also a key factor is the fact that they're missing 2 of their big players. So being able to put up 6 goals on an aggressive Montana State Bobcats team without Michael Carranza or Griffin Ames, that's a good feat.
Yeah, those are 2 big guys. Michael Carranza up front and forward. He's a big key forward for the Boise State Broncos, and Griffin being his senior year veteran, he's also a big guy back, a big leader. And Griffin, a lot of the defensemen look up to him because he's such a smart player with the puck.
Absolutely, and also big influences in the locker room, as that can't be looked over.
Of course, big glue guys for sure. A lot of guys look up to those 2.
Truex stands in to take the draw here against number 21, Zach Lane from Montana State. They're waiting for the rest of the timeout to run out. As it has, and now they're ready to drop the puck. Truex wins it back to Poland, who skates it behind his net, plays it up the wall to Pinsky, who plays it out to Jones and misses his stick, and that's going to be another icing call against the Broncos.
Yeah, that stretch pass just a little bit out in front of Jones, who's streaking down the far wall.
If he ended up corralling that could have been a great opportunity to score another goal.
Would have been a big momentum stopper against Montana State.
Truex loses the draw. Montana State rims it behind the net. They end up getting it back to the point where a shot is taken high. They find it on the far boards where it's thrown behind the net. Number 25 grabs it. Truex is able to intercept but loses it. It's popped back out to the point where a shot's taken. Brad Johnson closes his legs and stops the puck.
Another big save by Brad Johnson. He has been the difference in this game for sure, and he's without a doubt in my mind going to be the first star of tonight's game.
Absolutely. Broncos won the face-off. They rim it behind the boards. Dietz now grabs it and rims it back as it was stopped on the near boards. Broman tips it out, but Montana State regroups it and dumps it back in where it's stopped by Dietz, but Benson grabs it and backhands it back down into the Montana State zone, just short enough to not be icing. Broman grabs it, throws it out front where two Montana State players collide, and then they grab it and they bring it up far side now. They bring it down the ice. Stinson intercepts it. Montana State now in the slot, thrown to the net. Brad Johnson, big save. Benson now just chips it out of the zone. Delayed offsides causes Montana State to regroup, and now they get it to the far side and bring it in. Kyle Meyer there to pick it up. Battling two Bobcats now. And that is the end of regulation as Boise State takes down Montana State 6-3. Brad Johnson having a great game. Truex with 2 goals. Hodges with 1 goal. Benson with a goal.
Pinsky with a goal.
And Pinsky got the last one. On behalf of Jake Minton, I'm Mitch Kramer. Thanks for tuning in.